Football Update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And it's Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what we got to do. We got to talk some college football. And when I'm talking college football, there's only one guy I'm always with. My guy up north that's making the way just in case things get a little tense down here. He's making the way to bring us up north. My guy, Mr. Alex Loosemore. What up, Alex?
Not too much, man. Always excited to talk college ball. The draft is here right away. The transfer portal is still wild right now. And there's just so much still going on with college football in what's supposed to be like a dead period of the offseason.
Oh yeah. Spring games all over the place. And I know you haven't seen yours, right?
Not yet. I've seen little clips of it that people have posted, but I'll be able to see it Saturday.
Okay, so we'll definitely dive into that. But hey, you see the guy down there. You see the highlight behind him, the Golden Dome touchdown. Jesus is all there, my guy. EK Holiday. What up, Eric?
What up, Sean? Excited to be here. Excited to hurdle over you guys and your opinions. I just had to make it a little symbolic. So excited to talk ball.
The imagery. I see your point, my man. And look, we're here as college football. Like my guy Alex alluded to, the NFL draft is 2 days away, and we know so many picks, so many guys going into the league. We've discussed it, week after week, kind of what we're expecting. I'll take this minute since I am running this, and I'm a Washington fan, to show what Washington did a year ago, because that was amazing. LSU.
Not back away from any challenge. As a matter of fact, he ran toward every single challenge that was put in his way at LSU, and it manifested itself not by accident in him having a season where he was number one in total QBR, number two in QBR in the pocket, number one in QBR outside the pocket. He's a guy who can just absolutely cut your heart out with.
Absolutely did not know at that moment what was going to turn out, but that just shows how getting that right candidate with the team and everything behind it, beautiful. But it was draft night. It was the excitement of what could he be, getting your quarterback, your guy. So that was definitely a joyful moment. But look, we got to talk a little college football. We got to talk college football because, like my guy alluded to, there's always something going on. There's always stuff to talk about. And recently, there's been one name that has been atop of the college football chatter. And if you don't know it by now, you're going to know it soon. Nico Iamaleava is apparently UCLA Bruin. He goes there, and as a matter of fact, so is his brother Alex. Family reunion back in the West Coast. What's up?
Yeah, I mean this is an interesting one, especially with his brother Madden, because Madden initially committed to UCLA and then transferred to Arkansas, and then his brother transferred to UCLA, and all of a sudden he's just dropping ship and coming back to UCLA as well. Part of me wonders what the dad's involvement is in this, because we've chronicled this time and time again about how the dad is very controlling of everybody's family affairs. So it could have been one of those things like Nico decided, hey, I'm coming back home. I'm coming to play at UCLA. And the dad's like, hey, Madden, come on, you're coming too. So definitely would be something to look at there. But I don't think there's going to be a quarterback battle. I think Nico's going to be the clear number one, and Madden's holding the clipboard.
Yeah, and my main question, Eric, I asked you this earlier. I mean, we all know what Nico was trying to get out of Tennessee, and what he was definitely saying his asking price was, we know he's not getting that over at UCLA. But I'm wondering, does Madden get a portion of that? I mean, what does he get a cut? Is he involved in that? This is crazy, man.
Oh yeah, no clue what they're doing with money. They are tanking his stock, Nico's. Maybe it was all right, we'll give you a little bit more if you can convince little bro to come along with you. Um, it's interesting. The way this sets up makes me think. It makes me think that Nico is going to the draft one way or another next year, which I think is a terrible idea. But I would guess that the promise is, hey, Nico, he's going to get his 1 year. Madden's going to slide in right after behind him.
Wow.
So, I have nothing to base that off of other than the poor decision making that's been made thus far. And I think that maybe he thinks and his family thinks that his value is being a NFL player now. So I would be really surprised if he didn't declare, even if he has an average season.
Wow. Yeah. That's big. Hey, we'll see if that happens. But look, at this point, like you said, his name is kind of tarnished, and he hasn't helped his dad. Obviously, we've seen that whole thing. Unfortunately, the narrative right now is more about oh, this guy bad character X, Y, and Z. When to your point, Alex, he might not have as much control in his decisions as we all might think he does. But at the end of the day, he's a Bruin back at the West Coast. His brother's there. Now, there was another quarterback. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is the reason why Madden transferred to Arkansas. Wasn't it because Joey Aguilar from App State transferred to UCLA and won the battle?
Yep, that's correct. So Joey Aguilar was at App State the last couple of years, transferred to UCLA. They kind of just went off the bat and said, "Hey, he's the guy. He's experienced. He's going to be the starter." And Madden's like, "Hey, I'm just go." And then as soon as Nico got here, then Joey was like, "Hey, I'm leaving." Then Madden's like, "Hey, well, I'll come back then." And it's a gong show.
What is happening? Like, like, come on! It's not everybody sitting here saying, "Is this the first trade? Is this the first trade?" Well, it's not. I don't think. Obviously, it's not a 1-for-1 trade or things like that. But is this what we should be expecting? Like, is this the future of the game of college football? Like,
oh no, not the future, man. It's the present.
Yeah, it's the right now.
We're deep in it.
Yeah. Yep.
How many stories like that? I mean, we won't dive into it, but how many stories like that you can look around at every portal player, and one guy hopping from here to there, and then the other guy going. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is the topic of discussion, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna stick right here. So he was the number one. The number two quarterback that was in there is Jaden Rashada. And he was planning to come to North Carolina until just recently. He canceled his visit to North Carolina because North Carolina signed Gio Lopez, the redshirt freshman from South Alabama. I mean, obviously, this is as expected. We've talked about it. North Carolina had an opportunity to get maybe the 5-star Nico Iamaleava or now Rashada or something like that. And Alex, you mentioned to me, we weren't happy with what we had in house. We didn't feel like that was going to be something that was going to move us. And also, you have to fit when it comes to Belichick. With him, you got to make sure it's clicking. Maybe the young guys weren't getting it recently because Leo Lopez came in. Ryan Brown, the Purdue quarterback that transferred back to Purdue. So we got the young guys, but it looks like Gio's going to be the guy. But Rashada left and is back in the portal. So I'm coming to you, Eric. What is your thoughts about this, man? Do you think where do you think he's going to end up?
I think he's going to end up at a non-Power 4. So I think just comparing for kind of like trajectory and what's happened thus far, part of me wonders if him getting North Carolina talking to him was kind of a ploy to get more attention back on him
Yeah.
rather than him necessarily wanting to go to North Carolina. So I compare his kind of trajectory with Malachi Nelson, and Malachi Nelson was a much better prospect than Jaden Rashada. Rashada from the get-go was also always a raw potential, like high upside. Malachi Nelson was like he should come in and be ready, and Malachi Nelson went straight from USC to Boise after a year, and now he went from Boise to I can't remember
UTEP,
where it was. Yeah, UTEP. So I don't know. At some point, you make such a name for yourself that that you got to go to the lower schools before you're going to get another shot. Also, look at the time of the year he's doing this now. And I know he went in earlier, but how many jobs are really open now? And he wants to play. So yeah, it's interesting. It'll be fun to see where he ends up, but I have a feeling he may be one of those guys that we don't really hear his name again.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're starting to get some of these guys that are in these categories, and first and foremost, the reason why we're even really diving into this is because of how much attention they put on recruits and the star ratings and how big you guys are. So the fact that these guys are 5 stars, you have these expectations of great things. Now, Nico, 10-2 at Tennessee, yes, that was great. There is some question, especially now that he's gone, that was he just the next fill-in quarterback, the next Hendon Hooker, the next, Milton, Joe Milton, you know what I mean? Strong arm, ability, to move around, extend the pocket and everything, but not really, can't get over the top, can't really win the big game. So we don't know what's going to happen with him over there, but I think what this is doing is kind of like, you're looking at some of these guys and you're like, you're not making the right decisions. You're not showing. It's not great for the optics. Real teams that are looking at you, especially like a Lanning, who's going to call your coach and say, "Hey, look, this guy's shopping. He's looking around." They're not going to want to bring you in. And I think it's going to take coaches like a Fran Brown saying, "I'm not paying these guys all this money and doing this. You come here, you want to play, we can work with you down the line after that. But we're not dealing with this." So, he's not helping himself.
Can I tag something on real quick?
Absolutely.
The one thing with Rashada that I do feel bad about is Rashada genuinely did get screwed immediately coming out of high school. He had agreements in place with where he was at, going to Florida, and essentially from the moment he got on campus, they were backing off of those. And he wasn't receiving what he was told he was going to receive. So a real injustice by the Florida coaching staff and boosters that I think put his trajectory on the wrong path. Now he can still recover. He can still do things to put himself there, but I do feel bad for him because it was very unfortunate and very grimy what happened to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, hey, and look, with that's just one of many names that are on this that have moved. I mean, it just seems like something that happens just as fluid as water, just going from guys to guys places. We know about the big names of Carson Beck going from Georgia to Miami. You guys have mentioned a number of guys. We know about the Jackson Darnold going from Oklahoma to Auburn. Darian Mensah got some big money to go from Tulane to Duke. What are some names that are kind of shocking you guys, and kind of how are we looking at how some of these guys are going to do with the new location?
You want to start, or you want me to start?
Go ahead, Alex.
Okay. So a couple names that I really like the fits here. You just mentioned Mensah going to Duke. Well, and that pushed Malik Murphy out the door. He's now at Oregon State. We saw what DJ you did at Oregon State. If a guy like that can succeed there, I think Malik Murphy can do really good things there.
Exactly.
And my other one, I've said this a few times now, and I'm just going to keep pounding the table for this. I love the fit of Caden Salter at Colorado. I absolutely love that fit. Now, we'll see what happens because apparently that true freshman, Julian Lewis, lit up the spring game, played very well. Still have to imagine the Salter at least starts the season, though. But I've liked Salter's game the last few years when he was at Liberty, getting him on a bigger stage with some better talent around him. I think you're only getting bigger things from Caden Salter this year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Actually, I watched it and I think I sent it to you or I sent it to the other chat, the was it golden black game or whatever. And so what you saw, you're absolutely right. Like Juju, I mean, Julian Barton he was hitting some of those passes. As soon as he hit that back step, it was released and it was beautiful. I think the difference was Salter. You saw him hit the tight ends more. You saw him hit the running backs more. He was more about moving the ball down the field, and I think that's the difference. You got one guy that's flashy, but Salter, who's been around, he's experienced. You would expect that from him, driving down the field, getting third downs, things of that nature. So it was a fun game to watch. Obviously, I watched because I wanted to see the number being retired. We discussed that a week ago. Still, But EK, man, talk to us. What are some of these names on this list? I mean, Castellanos going to Florida State. Devin Dampierre from New Mexico to Utah. I'm really eager to see what that looks like. What are some of the names you're thinking about? Your quarterback, Angeles, is moving on.
Yeah, so this is what you get for letting the Michigan fan go first. I had Salter lined up.
You told me to go first. You told me.
I know. That's what I said. I am my own worst enemy. Why I thought a Michigan man would not steal my ideas. I'm kidding. Your own. So
stole your signs before, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Bring the shade.
So I'll just jump on. I won't go too far. Everything you said about Salter. Could potentially even be an upgrade if he starts, which is a wild thought. But if you look from what he did in 2023 specifically, he might have been the best player in college football that season.
Strong debate.
So just throw that in there. The jumping up a level for Granowiski that's now at Iowa is one that's super intriguing. The only problem with that is it's Iowa. So, they don't really produce much. The last one I'll throw at you is Miller Moss. And that has less to do with him and more to do with the fact that anyone who Brom gets his hands on becomes productive. Like I think we could be decent quarterbacks playing for Brom. Yeah.
I got a year left in this arm.
It looks like
you
go ahead.
You look at Miller Moss, how freaking lucky is he? Yes. Lincoln Riley to Brom. Like that's two of the best quarterback coaches in college football right now.
Yeah. And I think Brom is personally I'm more of a fan of his, but
agreed. I think Riley's had better talent to work with to start off with, where Brom's done a better job of developing these guys and molding them into great quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
And then Brom came. He played at Louisville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He came home, and that I really respect that as opposed to Riley, who we've seen his exploits. Gets over here and he's gonna cut and run. Yeah, doing what he does. So, I'm not necessarily a fan. Let's also talk about some of these other guys. Some of these guys that maybe have been around and you want to see. A guy like a Tyler Van Dyke, who's who bounced from Miami a couple years back, had all that hype around him, and went to Wisconsin last year. Now he's gonna fill Salter's spot at SMU. Ashton Daniels going from Stanford to Auburn. Billy Edwards leaving Maryland to go to Wisconsin to fill the spot from Tyler Van Dyke.
He was coming to us.
You know, I mean,
it sounded so long like he was going to be a Wolverine.
You look at these names: Connor Wegman going from A&M to Houston. You look at some of these guys that have played meaningful minutes, have won games around. You know, will these guys have success? And also Matthew Sluka, who was the start of a lot of this stuff, that where he's just like, oh, they promised me something, so I'm now not going to play. I'm going to withhold my talents and all this, because they reneged on their part, so I'm going to sit out. And now we're kind of in this situation. What happens to him? You know what I mean, Alex? What do you think about some of these guys that have played meaningful minutes but just hasn't worked where they were at?
Well, that's the interesting thing with this year's transfer portal is it seems like there's more guys this year than any other year recently, where you can get a proven starter, a guy that's been there and done that. Maybe not at the same level that you're at now, but he's done it at a very high level at that level he was at. So guys like Salter, like John Mateer, Carson Beck, there, Jackson Arnold is the potential's there. That's an interesting battle at Auburn. We got Mikey Keene from Fresno State, who's a 3-4 year starter UCF to Fresno State, now to Michigan. There's so many guys that have a plethora of reps, that have seen every defense you can throw at them, that have worked with great coaches and now get a chance in their new system. I think this is a great chance for especially these teams that have young quarterbacks underneath. Sit that young guy for a year or two, let him learn from the veteran, and put that veteran in to give yourself a chance to win early.
Right. Yeah, give them that opportunity. I mean, and shout out to Ben who's watching. We'll see how Thomas Castellano does at FSU. Norvell wanted a Jordan Travis type quarterback as far as movement out of the pocket and is at his RPO. Look, I love that move from Castellanos. Alex, you know I've talked about him in his time at Boston College, where 2 years ago when Florida State went 13-0, Boston College almost beat them. It came down to a penalty. Yeah, it came down to a penalty late in the game, and I think it was like 31-29. Castellanos ran all over those guys. So I love seeing him get an opportunity in a big school, and hopefully he's able to do it. And some of these, we'll see how some of these things pan out. But hey, the transfer portal is wild. There's still names out there. Yeah, EK, what's up?
I got to worry about Steve Angeli graduating this year and then coming back to play at Notre Dame Stadium on Senior Day.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm over this portal nonsense.
I understand, man. I get it. I get it. Oh man, but it is the new current college football. Good God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to a quick break, but before we do, we're gonna send you out with a little. We're gonna talk about coaches on the other side. So we're gonna send you out with a little question of who is this head coach. Take a look, see if you can see who it is, and we're gonna check out this commercial from my guy Anton Benson. Be right back. Yeah, buddy, that is my guy, Anton Benton, creator of Awesome Artisans. You can find him on Instagram, awesome_artisans, and he's also on Facebook and all other social media platforms. Definitely get in touch with him. Lives in the Virginia Beach area, travels up and down the East Coast and to the Midwest. He can work inside, outside, on the roof, in Florida, wherever you need. And if he can't do it, he can definitely put you in conversation with somebody that actually can take care of it. So get in touch with my guy. So, we are back. This college football update. You see my guy over there, Mr. Alex Loosemore. And there it is, Fighting Irish himself, Eric Kelly. We're here talking college football, and some news just came out about the playoff in this coming year. Alex, what did you hear?
Yeah, so they announced the playoff schedule earlier today. So we get, for the quarterfinals, New Year's Eve, there's only one game. It'll be the Cotton Bowl at 7:30 Eastern. And then Thursday, January 1st, we get a triple header. At noon Eastern, the Orange Bowl. The Rose Bowl got pushed up. It used to be, I believe, 6 Eastern. It's now 4 Eastern. And the Sugar Bowl is 8 Eastern. So triple header on New Year's Day. The semifinals, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, January 8th, another Thursday, is Fiesta Bowl, Thursday night. And then Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, is the Peach Bowl. And then the national championship will be Monday, January 19th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh, okay. Loving that. Let's see what happens. Ben said, with the recent tariffs, does Anton go all the way to, let's say, Edmonton? Hey, he will travel. If he can get across the border, he will travel. Let's go. But look, before the commercial, we gave you a video of a coach that used to play quarterback. And we wanted to see if you guys can spot out who this might be. I'm going to play this back really quickly and let us know, Ben and Anthony and all of you that are watching, who this might be. Might be a little hard to see, but we'll give you our answer on the other side. Played for East Stroudsburg University. I'll tell you, it took me a while until I saw the very end. Then I kind of put two and two together.
It just looks like a guy who would like to run up points for no reason. I don't know. Just in his eyes.
See, and at first, I just saw the first picture when you guys sent it to the group chat there. Yeah. The only reason I caught it was the caption underneath. Yep. Wishing happy birthday to blank school head coach. And I was just like, oh, that's who it is right there.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you know who that quarterback was from East Stroudsburg University? He is currently a head coach, and I will say he's in the Big Ten.
Playoff coach.
Oh yeah. And wait a minute. Isn't he in the he coached the team that's in the picture that's being hurdled. EK knew that this question was gonna be asked. I see now why you got it. My man. I love
good thinking.
For those of you that don't know, we're gonna go ahead and say it. James Franklin, head coach of Penn State. That was him. So shout out to him. Shout out to the question. And shout out to our guy EK who came prepared. Yeah, that's right. Stay ready. So you don't have to get ready. Let's go.
I can never go too low.
Come on. I wanted to ask that question because he was a coach. He is a coach now, and one of the things that we've seen is, and we talked about a week ago, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders getting their numbers retired and their jerseys retired, and we all kind of questioned the decision of Deion Sanders to being able to do that, and question him not doing it to the old numbers and really just working on these guys, and but one thing we really can't question is the fact that Deion has brought two of his players to the absolute peak. And not only that, he went from an HBCU to a Power 4 school and brought them after 2 years from a losing record to a game away from potentially getting himself into the playoff. Got a Heisman Trophy winning candidate. We've seen the impact that he's had. Love him or hate him, he has had success everywhere he's gone. And I think it's starting to show. We're seeing coaches pop up all over the place that are more fresh on the memory. Guys that have played. Michael Vick going over to Norfolk State, Delaware State getting Djax, Deshaun Jackson. You have
Eddie George
at Bowling Green. Bowling Green?
Yep.
Over there. Even in basketball, you had Charlie Ward came back and coach at FAMU or something like that. So my question to you guys, and Eric, I'll come to you first on this one. Has Coach Prime opened the door for former players to coach collegiately?
Yeah, I mean, he has certainly absolutely opened the door. The follow-up, which I don't know if you're going to ask, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And that's where it gets fun. But I think he is certainly such a – he's got his own gravity, gravitational pull. He is, by all accounts, a leader of men, very strong in his faith. He is boastful, but he has backed it up so far to our knowledge. And he's had success. I'll say success at his first place, and we're still to be determined on what's happening at Colorado. But
I mean, he took a 1-win school to over 500 in the last 2 years. So
okay, if you like Big 10 schedules, and you want to say a 1-win season or a 1-winning season is progress, it's definitely progress. But
yeah, it's progress. It's not success yet. It's progress.
Progress.
But they're competitive, and I do think they're on the rise. But I don't think they've done anything for. I mean, I put it in the Shedeur talk that I think I had with Sean the other day. Have they beat a top 25 team? Only one in the entire between Shedeur and Deion as the coach in their entire time. Yeah, one. It was week 1 against TCU, who turned out to not even be a 6-6 team. So this isn't a knock on Deion. It's just saying I don't think I can say that they've arrived.
Agreed.
So I like what he's doing, though. Just to be clear. But yeah, it's interesting. Some of the other coaches who are getting opportunities, but I think that's another question if you set it up. So I'll throw.
No, yeah. Well, no, yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's even more that we mentioned Brom earlier, but Deshaun Foster at UCLA. Like you look further and further, and there's more and more guys that are NFL guys.
Brom at Louisville.
Some of these guys have been earning their stripes for years.
Yes.
I mean, this is walk in and you're a head coach without having any real coaching experience. Those are very different things.
And so that's where that's where I'm kind of focusing the question, because we've seen a lot of players that have been coaches, the Heupels, and a lot of guys that have had success, but it has been sustained, and they've been on staffs and they've done things like that. I'm mainly talking about what you're alluding to. Is the Michael Vicks and the Deshaun
guys that came out of nowhere,
right? Where it seemed like, hey, we need to do something to revitalize our program. Let's see if we can do that. But I also then I go back to the fact that that's what I thought when I heard Jackson State was getting Deion. Like, oh, okay, this is a publicity stunt. I didn't really think that it was going to turn in what he's turned it into from those 2 years there and then going off to Colorado. So I want to give, and that's what I guess my question is. Can we give, does Dion success and what he has been able to do, does that allow us to give these guys the benefit of the doubt without really showing the evidence of the things that they've done? Like we said, they haven't earned their stripes, if you will, or it doesn't seem that way.
I think it's the guys. Dion, for example, might not have coached, but he was a football analyst for over a decade. Right. So it was somebody that you got to see the football mind behind him, right? Where it wasn't just, oh, I was a great player. Where it was, you could see he clearly understands the game just beyond the corner position. So it's like, okay, maybe that guy, he might be able to coach. And so I think it's those kind of guys where you can see, okay, they have a mind for football. Like, to me, if there was one I could pluck right now, it would be Dan Orlovsky from ESPN. Put him at a football program, because just some of those guys, seeing the mind they have for the game. Now, that's not all it is coaching. You got to be able to lead a room, command a locker room. Right. You got to be able to stand up in front of 135 guys and capture their attention. So get everyone on one message, one motion. So there's a lot that goes into being a head coach. Make no mistake about that. But I think it has absolutely opened the door and given some of those guys a chance that maybe didn't get the opportunity to go be an assistant coach, or didn't take that opportunity if it was there, to kind of jump the line and be like, okay, I'll start at a smaller school like a Norfolk State, a Delaware State, somewhere in there. Eddie George jumped it even further going to Bowling Green. But there's just something there where these guys are getting more of a shot because you've seen guys like Dion now.
Right. And I for one love that. I love that the door is open. And look, I in no way, shape, or form want to minimize them having this job and how groundbreaking that is, especially in the community of ex-players, being seen as more than just dumb jocks and, the shut up and dribble nonsense. No, like you said, Alex, to run a team, and nowadays is an organization. So you have to sit here and understand the dynamics, the economics of the optics of the whole university.
What's it going to cost to get a quarterback now? What's it going to cost to get a right tackle, a nose tackle, an outside linebacker?
I mean, exactly. And those are now, it's all encompassing. So to see these guys have this is great. It's absolutely great. But Eric, we alluded to it earlier, and this was the question you kind of started with, like, is this good for the game to have these high profile players now coming back and coaching and swagged up on the sidelines? And do we want to continue to, and we don't know if they're going to all be like the Dions with the personal videographer following him, the chains and the bodyguards. Right. We don't know if it's going to be that, but we already know that the names are bringing a lot of attention to, at least they're begging the question, okay, is it warranted? So, I mean, is this good for the game, or what do you think?
So let's start it with two things. The first is, agree 100% with what Alex was talking about. As far as head coach needs to be able to command a room. I don't think that someone necessarily has to have been. I think it could be harder for many to be a coordinator, but they could be a head coach. So Dion, I'm not sure he could have been a coordinator, but he can command the room. He can lead men. So I think those are two separate things. So the straight jump to coach, I can definitely understand, or head coach, I can definitely understand from that aspect, from like the Eddie George or Dion, very strong personalities in different ways. Fundamentally, I have a problem with Michael Vick being the leader of a program of young men. I think he served his time. I think it's great that he has reclaimed himself. But I do not know that that's a guy that I'm ready to have lead young men.
Yeah, we got to see it first.
So I would like to see a bit more of a track record there before, as a state institution, I put my kid's future in the hands of so and so player.
Well, and that's and to that point, that's the other thing. That's my first thought when I heard Deshaun Jackson was going to be there, and he came out with the flashy jacket and everything, and I was like, I've seen videos of this dude off the field. Like, I know this guy's character. This is not a coach, a head coach to a reputable school. This is I mean, he's out here clowning, joking, or doing all this other stuff. Now you expect me to believe that he's now going to be buttoned up, and even worse, if he's going to come out here and then this is just how the team is going to be. It's not a good look. And for me, I have a big issue when it comes to HBCUs because of the fact that all the great talent is already taken out of there. The funding is not there. So I really like to see those schools be shown. And when you have a guy like Deion bring that attention, that's great. But then once he left, it left that gap. And now you have I like the Vic. I like the Deshaun Jackson. I like some of these guys coming in here and trying to revitalize, but I don't want them to come in here, make it a joke, and leave. Yeah. So that's the issue that I'm kind of having with.
So I agree. Like, it's good. If it's good, it's good. Like, if they do a good job and they're good leaders. But I guess my question for you is, if you were the president of, is it Delaware? Not Delaware State, Norfolk.
Yeah, that's
State?
for Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. So if you were the president there, are you signing off on that person being the leader of the young men that you're responsible for? Like I said, I get it with Eddie. I get it with Deion. You can name a ton of other players. I absolutely get it.
I'm gonna be very real. There's two very honest truths. As a person and with my moral standards, absolutely not. As an AD or somebody that needs to continue to fund my university and make sure we get the best talent in here,
that's it, right there.
Absolutely. And that's where, and I know that's not right.
What kind of money are you worrying about pulling?
But it's the potential of the money that he could bring in here, that where we don't need the funding that's being cut elsewhere. And I hate that you have to play with this, but it's
the potential of killing the program completely, though.
But at the same time,
risk.
I'll answer your question with another question. When's the last time we ever talked about Delaware State, Norfolk State, any of these schools?
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad from that aspect. I mean, it's certainly great. And they may be great people. I'm just saying I don't understand how you hand over a program. All right, let's back it up. Georgia football players. Let's all get on the same page. They get caught going 100. They get pulled over, blah, 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 blah. Are you letting your kids ride with them next time before they have a smooth track record of good driving?
Of course not.
Or as soon as they get their license back, you're saying, hey, jump in the car. Have fun, kids. Sorry, Anthony, I had to do it, man. We just haven't got one in yet.
Low hanging fruit.
So again, they're there, and I'm rooting for them. I want them to be great role models. I want them to do great as coaches. I just don't know that I can see how you justify it. But maybe they have existing relationships with these guys, and they know who they really are now. But I think it is just what Alex is saying. I think it is let's get our eyes on ESPN. Clicks. Yeah.
Now, and here's the other thing, and I again, I'm not privy to this, so don't crucify me if those of you that actually know. But to my knowledge, nobody's beaten down the Delaware State door to come over there. Nobody's beat down Norfolk State to say, I want to coach. I mean, maybe you got some guys that have been working their butts off, but those are homegrown guys. This is not big name guys like the Vic and like the Deshaun Jackson. So I mean, it's a gamble, absolutely, but it's like you're really saying, let me parlay this for a future. Maybe we can get,
but you can't tell me that those guys are better coaches than the ones who
No.
have been grinding.
No. But how many times do guys get the jobs that aren't the best coach or best qualified? Like sometimes it's about image more.
So they're going to get a few more players, and then those players may play well if the team does well, and then they're going to go to the University of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I just don't. I don't think we should look at it as these teams are going to actually really compete.
No.
So what happened at Jackson State was what I think will have been a rare thing. But I do want to see these teams compete because there's a lot of great history there. There's a lot of great tradition. But I don't know. I support them. I hope they do well, but I think I fundamentally disagree with your thought process. And that's cool. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see actually how they do, because I'm trying to look at some of the talent, and outside of maybe one or two other schools, I mean, if they could put a competent team on the field.
But if you can't, and I'm not saying they can't,
but
if you can't coach, what does it matter?
Well, here's the question. Here's the interesting thing to look at too is, do they have coaching experience below the college level? Because Dion coached his kids all the way up.
Years.
So he coached all the way up, so he had experience coaching. Do these guys have any experience coaching the younger generations that they've developed their coaching style and how to actually coach and command a locker room?
Yeah.
And now see if they can transition it to this level. That's the one thing that doesn't really get talked about is what experience do they have? It's just like, oh, hey, former NFL player Michael Vick is coaching Norfolk State now. Oh, hey, former NFL player Deshaun Jackson is now coaching Delaware State. Where it's like, oh, this guy's been retired for the last 10, 15 years, and he spent that whole time coaching, whether it's the Pop Warner, whether it's high school. Like we saw Trent Dilfer right before he got the job at UAB. But there was the only reason we heard he was coaching high school was because he tossed that kid on the sideline. So it's one of those things that like you don't really hear that experience for these guys beforehand. So I think that would be something interesting to look at.
Oh, absolutely. Like the Gus Malzahns of the world who went high school, but they still went through a coaching path before they landed those jobs.
100%.
He went to be the OC for Auburn when they won the national championship. So it's just fascinating. I agree with that for sure. But
we got
one more. One more thing.
I got you.
Since I'm the one who's going hard here. You double down and you hire Marcus Vick to be part of the staff?
Yeah.
So what does the rest of the staff look like? I mean, we could argue Marcus was worse than Michael.
Yep.
No question.
All right, I'm done.
Well. With that, you killed my last point because I was gonna say, see, what Dion did was he hired good coaches on the side, and he already knocked it out the park, man. But at least for Dion, at least for Dion, when you hire Ward staff, you hire Marshall Faulk, you get those guys in house. You can say, all right, these guys have coached, these guys have talked about football, they've been in house working with it. But yeah, to your point, I can't defend that. I can't defend Vic.
Even before that, with some of the coaches Dion was hiring, though, he got like Pat Shurmur, an NFL offensive coordinator, longtime offensive coordinator, come down. Like there were plenty of guys with not only collegiate experience coaching and playing, but NFL experience coaching and playing.
Exactly.
So he did a phenomenal job of building that coaching staff around him to where he doesn't necessarily have to worry about any X's and O's. He can just worry about being that essentially CEO is what a head coach is now. Just be that guy to manage.
Great at it.
Right.
Yes, he is
Great at it.
phenomenal at it.
Yep.
And see, that's the thing. So that was going to be my point before you knocked it out. Was if you are, sometimes you don't have to. These guys can just be the face, which might be what these universities need. If you can bring a competent coaching staff together to have success, then you can come out here and say your little speech, get your little 30 seconds on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, and and you win, whatever. But you have to have success, and you have to bring in the people that can help. To your point, I don't know what the Vicks, other than him being his brother and just, hey, I'm here, so you're here with me, which I would do for y'all. But at the same time, I know you guys know the game, so I know you would know what you're talking about, as opposed to, hey, it's my brother.
I get why Mike would do it. I mean, people would give Mike a second chance.
Yeah.
Mike's trying to give his brother a second chance.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's just, it's not them that I'm blaming.
The best
But is he the best? Yeah. Well, right. And is he the best guy for the job?
I'm very happy how Mike has reclaimed himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was amazing what he's done. But Zibby, I'll never let him come near you.
Oh yeah. No. And I don't want to miss that I truly appreciate and really just am so proud of the fact that these guys do have this opportunity. And we didn't really talk as much about Bowling Green and Eddie George. The other two, and even from where Deion started, that's all HBCU. Bowling Green, I mean, that's D1. That's we right there. So, and that's also something I think you told me. That's in Ohio. So that's where he made his claim to fame. That's where he's from. That's his whole aura. So the things that he could have success in recruiting, he could seriously make a dent out there. And then, if he does something in the MAC, that one I'm more eager to see. I asked the same questions, but with him, when I don't think they would be as easily able to say, hey, we're going to give you this job in the MAC and in the big name schools, as opposed to the HBCUs. So I'm very eager to see how he does who he's able to bring around, and the recruits and all that. And I hope these guys get the year, or at least he does.
We're not skipping the fact that he did start at the Middle Tennessee State. So he was coaching the last few years.
Oh yeah. Oh nice.
So his jump isn't straight to Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
I did too.
The interesting thing with the coaching situation now, though, is you look at it. Saban's gone. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh just left. Dabo Swinney's probably not long left for college football. Now, Kirby Smart, Lincoln Riley, some of these guys might be gone fairly soon. A lot of these big name coaches are walking out the door now, and we're kind of looking for the new faces of the coaching tree of college football right now. Yeah. Deion's clearly going to be one of those guys. With his pull and everything, he's going to be one of those guys. And then it's just who's next? Who's coming to kind of take that mantle and be the top 4 or 5 coaches year in and year out in college football?
And we might be able to look at Deion and think of, would Marcus Freeman have gotten from coordinator to head coach of Notre Dame? Would Moore have gone from coordinator to head coach of Michigan without having had head coaching experience before? So, I mean, the levels that it can hit and his impact, I think it's gigantic. Because those are powerful personalities, both of them. So, just a thought.
So the impact we all agree on. If the people should technically be there, maybe we don't see that, but it's good, and that's why we wanted this conversation, because it opens those lines of dialogue, and I love it, because we were all trying to, we all came from different spots, and I think it's great. Nicole, shout out to you for watching. Are these new eligible coaches? Yes, these are new coaches, not eligible. They are on different teams now, but it's opening the door for a whole new breed, a new batch of coaches to come out that have played the game, that are far closer to the game, and their names we're very familiar with. So we already kind of make our connections. It's exciting to see. And shout out to Coach Prime for all the, praise he gets or criticism. I mean, what he's doing and what he continues to do. And this, I think, more than anything, from everything he's done up to this point, for me, the biggest year, in my opinion, is this year. You don't have Travis Hunter. You don't have Shedeur. You're not, you don't have all the stuff. You have your recruits. It's starting to get to see what recruits in the transfer portal and all that stuff. But you're going with, you don't know who you're going with. It's not all set in stone, and it's not all, you can't have those, or, kind of like the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady thing. Bill was trying to find a new quarterback. Time went on. Bill was still trying to look for Z. So this should be interesting to see what happens this year, and I'm eager to see how he coaches up this year, and if he can continue that progress, near success that he's had.
Success for sure, but
yeah.
Well, let's not say good.
Oh man, yo. So look, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We had to hit you with little transfer talk, little quarterback talk, little head coach talk, and I love that dialogue that we just had. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 days away, the draft will be here. We will be looking and seeing who's going where, who's getting picked. Will Washington trade back? What's going to happen, and it's exciting. We'll see. Stay tuned. Alex, are you doing Restore the Roar tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to do just kind of the draft episode. I'll do, instead of just the Lions mock draft tomorrow, I think I'm going to do my full 32 team mock draft, go over that, and then kind of look at some later scenarios for the Lions. I got to talk some trade rumors. There's a big time player that's talked about potentially leaving the building. So I'll talk that tomorrow. And just get fully ready for the draft.
Where did that player go to school?
It doesn't narrow it down too much given the recent draft history, but
that makes it
Alabama.
Fun. Okay. Oh, yeah, that doesn't narrow it down at all. That's the whole
yeah.
Jeez, that was a terrible question.
Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Are you and Andrew, North Sports Dynasty, going on for the draft?
Yeah,
nice.
Thursday night. I just checked with him because I hadn't heard anything lately. I was like, it's in 2 days. Are we doing this? It sounds like we are going live for night 1 of the draft. And then I think there's something going on for night 2. I'm not entirely sure. But might be going live Friday as well.
I can dig it. So there will be dual shows. We will be also going on, Janae and I, and pulling in some of the people from all the different facets of the LTF community. Nicole saying can't wait for the 24th. Absolutely.
Yeah, they got the 9th pick. Can't wait to see what they're going to do.
Exactly. And hey, they need a quarterback. So we'll see how that plays out. Could that be the trade? It could be, this guy. He's retiring. He's not playing another snap. Yo, we got to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. For my guy over there, Alex Loosemore. You see him down there. EK Holiday. It is your boy, Sean Spencer. We appreciate you guys being with us, hanging out with us. I'm done. I've been tongue-tied all night. I'm done. We love you guys. We'll see y'all on the flip side. College football. We're out. Let's go.
College football update. It's with your host, Sean Spencer and Alex Loosemore.